Hello, my name is Philip Totaro. I'm the founder and CEO of market research firm IntelStor. Welcome to your weekly dose of truth to power. Truth to Power examines data driven insights for the energy sector with a focus on renewables. On this week's episode, we're looking at installed capacity and market share for the global offshore wind energy market from the IntelStor Future of Renewables report. The global market for offshore wind is 99 gigawatts as of the end of 2025, with installation of the technology in just 19 different countries. At this point in 2026, we've surpassed 100 gigawatts, and we're well on our way to seeing more than 230 gigawatts installed within the next 10 years. While offshore wind may be an order of magnitude smaller than the onshore wind energy market, it's clear that the growth trajectory for this technology is very strong. More than a dozen countries are looking to start the process for development of their first project, including places like Turkey or the scale up of small demonstration projects that have been deployed, like South Korea. Now, while the USA has faced recent turbulence in offshore wind, that has created opportunities for Canada and European markets to progress faster. The Asia Pacific region is dominated by China, resulting in more than 56.7 gigawatts installed and a 57.3% market share. China's embrace of offshore wind should ensure that they retain a global lead as they have the most extensive global pipeline of new projects. Europe is second with a total of 41.1 gigawatts installed for 41.6% market share. The region has planned capacity auctions in the United Kingdom, Germany, the Netherlands, Denmark, France, and Poland that will keep the industry segment growing within the next 10 to 15 years. The Americas has proven to be a bit of a disappointment. 5 years ago, we had initially predicted that the USA alone would have more than 15 gigawatts of capacity by 2030, but with the outright hostility which offshore wind is facing in the US, developers and investors have looked elsewhere in the region, such as Canada, Brazil, and even Colombia, as the next most promising markets. If the USA could get out of its own way, the offshore wind industry has the potential to be a $1 trillion industry in the United States. Africa and the Middle East has yet to deploy any offshore wind capacity, but this could theoretically happen by 2040 in either Morocco, Egypt, South Africa, or Saudi Arabia. Europe's dominated the industry since 1991 when the first offshore wind farm was installed in Denmark. For the past 25 years, the shift has been underway towards China and the Asia Pacific region generally, but growth in Europe and the Americas within the next 5 years is likely to start tipping the balance back towards the rest of the world. Capacity additions for offshore wind within the next 5 years in Europe will also help offset peaking oil prices. While the forecast for annual capacity additions had to be readjusted after the policy changes in the USA, we remain confident that the world will see close to 150 gigawatts of new capacity additions over the next 5 years. Europe has approximately 61 gigawatts in their installation pipeline, while the Asia Pacific region is poised to almost double their current installed capacity with another 50.7 gigawatts, split largely amongst China and Vietnam. The Americas had hoped to add substantially to this, but they may only manage between 14 to 15 gigawatts out of the 34.8 gigawatts originally planned. Attention now centers on Canada as the next viable offshore wind market, with political leaders in Nova Scotia as well as Newfoundland and Labrador ready to offset some of the market losses in the USA due to the instability of the political leadership. In the year 2000, the world barely had 100 megawatts worth of offshore wind capacity installed. By 2025, the industry reached almost 100 gigawatts globally. That is a growth of more than 1,000 times. By 2035, it's possible for the global installed capacity of offshore wind to approach 250 gigawatts installed, with another 105.8% growth as the world accelerates the development. The end of China's federal subsidies for offshore wind in 2021 drove a significant amount of capacity additions at the time, and they will continue to dominate the Asia-Pacific region. Europe has a unique opportunity to add more than 61 gigawatts of new capacity by 2030, actually outpacing the Asia-Pacific region. China will still bolster APAC's offshore wind growth, but Vietnam and Taiwan are looking to make a more meaningful contribution, along with Japan and South Korea hoping to ramp up their activities. Australia and the Philippines are also ready to play a part in the Asia Pacific region, although much of the impact of their interest in growing the industry segment will be an impact beyond 2030. With the USA's political regime squandering the trillion-dollar opportunity that's right in front of them, there are opportunities for project developers and financiers to reallocate some of the funding they had hoped to invest in the USA into Canada, or even repatriate some of it to Europe in order to support markets like Poland, Sweden, Norway, and Estonia. By 2030, the world should see a cumulative installed base of approximately 225 gigawatts, but could be upwards of 246.7 gigawatts if things break the industry's way. The Asia Pacific region and Europe are running very close to one another in market share, and it's hopeful that they can spur each other on to faster capacity adoption. There's still a small sliver of optimism that in the Americas, some of the projects which were previously permitted could still be built, but largely speaking, we think that the Americas could end 2030 probably closer to 16 gigawatts as opposed to the 36 that we had originally predicted, depending on how quickly project permitting and offtake auctions in Canada will take place. Canada is poised to absorb some of that investment that had been earmarked for project development in the US. Meanwhile, Europe is looking at a substantial increase in new capacity as well, with an additional 61 gigawatts on top of the 41.1 gigawatts already installed. Within the next 5 years, the number of countries with operational offshore wind capacity should increase by 6, with new markets and established countries in kind of a new arms race for offshore wind. While investor confidence has been dented from the nonsense that the industry's had to incur in the US, it feels like there's still optimism in the market, and certainly outside the US, there's definitely activity happening that's worth paying attention to. Thank you for joining me this week. I'm Philip Totaro, and this has been your weekly dose of truth to power. We'll have more to come from this IntelStor exclusive report, The Future of Renewables, next time on Truth to Power, including a look at generation and efficiency of the global offshore wind market. In the meantime, you can follow us on IntelStor's YouTube channel as well as your favorite audio platforms, and visit www.intelstor.com to join more than 350,000 subscribers to our renewable energy data solutions. We're adding subscribers faster than ever, so don't miss out. Register today. A full analysis of the global renewable energy market is available to online subscribers of this new, exclusive IntelStor report, The Future of Renewables. And tickets are on sale now for the next Wind Summit event in Houston, Texas on the 3rd and 4th of November, 2026. Visit www.windsummit.org and join hundreds of your industry colleagues to discuss all the latest trends in O&M. We've got speakers and panelists lined up from companies like NextEra, EDPR, EDF, Pattern Energy, ExxonMobil, WEG, and more. So don't miss out. Register today. We hope to see you there.